everybody should work hard. Practice makes perfect. You have to be diligent about what you want. You have to apply yourself. You have to motivate yourself. And you have to do it for self, by yourself. And then you can do things for other people. But
good morning. My name is Dr. Terrence Alexander Rizal. They call me Dr. T. I am a social and behavioral scientist, one of the rare black and social behavioral scientists that exist. And I discovered a reality in the black community, a question that has been grilling me since a child. I've always known since a child that something was wrong in the black race. As a child, my mother was a godly woman. She had friends of all nationalities and encouraged us to have friends and relationships with people from all cultures and nationalities, Jewish, Italian, Russian. I grew up with all kids, Haitians, Africans, and I am telling you, I've noticed my mother knew something was wrong with black people. My mother knew something was wrong with the Democratic Party. My mother never trusted the Democratic Party. She saw them as liars and criminals. And I'm going to show you why that's true. I'm going to prove to you without a shadow of a doubt that it is not white people that is causing the systemic poverty and lack of progress in the black race. It's us. It's 3 sellout niggas that sold us out for the enrichment of their own race. Holy Spirit, help me to show these people the truth. Shine the light into the darkness and show what these people have done to us. These people are Luciferians. Let me show you how it started. It started off with a man named Karl Marx. Karl Marx was a Luciferian. And these people, I believe, tapped into dark demonic forces that gave them these ideas. I don't believe that these ideas are human in nature. I believe that they are dark and they are demonic. And they gave these ideas to these men. This man, Karl Marx, who was a Luciferian, he was a Satan worshiper. He was in poverty when Tavistock found him, when they found him. He was in poverty, his kids were starving, he was molesting his kids. He wrote poems in his dedication, expressing his dedication to Satan, that were so dehumanizing and so demonic. The man wrote in his poems that he wanted to eat the shit out of his daughter's ass and chew it out of her asshole, put it back in her asshole, take it out with his mouth and chew it again, because he loved Satan so much. This satanic monster, Karl Marx, met with Chatham House. Chatham House is what Tavistock Institute was in their embryo stage. Wellington House, they called them the Great Rioters of Wellington House in London. H.G. Wells was a member. And what they did was, you remember, War of the Worlds, that scared the hell out of everybody, people thinking it was real. That was a test run. They were using writings to see if they can make writings so real and so believable that people would believe them. That was the foundation that Tavistock was built on, deceiving and fooling people through the science of social engineering. This guy, Karl Marx, met with them at the London Library, at the London Conference. They're all communist Luciferians. Communism and Luciferianism are synonymous. When they created communism together with Tavistock and the social engineers, they created a satanic doctrine. It has sexual perversion in it. It has death in it. The doctrine will only lead to what Satan wants and what these people want, and that is total destruction. That is why the Communist Manifesto and socialism has destroyed whatever it's gone, because it is the doctrine of death. That's what it is supposed to do. In it, it says, even to the sacrifice of your friend, meaning there's no relationships in communism. I was married to a Russian woman, so I know all about the shit. In communism, even your friends and families are all enemies. You can kill them at any time. It is a demonic, dark doctrine, and that's what you see in the black community today. That's why we kill each other at 98%, because we have been infected with the Communist Manifesto. So, He met with them in Tavistock in 1847. They met with starting the Bolshevik War. John Lennon. They met with him later on in 1970. They met with him and financed the Bolshevik War. This is how it started. These people are all mad scientists, social engineers, and they're brilliant. Started off with Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud's family is riddled with pedophilia. His father raped Anna, him, all of them. I believe that he was trying to cure himself of being a pedophile. He has a nephew who's a prolific pedophile who was investigated in the missing of Madeline. Might have saw that. That was huge all over the news. Sigmund Freud. He began the breakthroughs in psychology. He then gave his work to Eric Bernays. Eric Bernays was from Germany, psychopath, Luciferian, who was interested in social engineering, which is the science of controlling people without them knowing it. You can give them entire lives to live. They would live it out and think that it was theirs and not ever know it. This is the guy who started it with the Tavistock Institute, Eric Bernays. This is the guy who wrote the book Propaganda. This is the guy who started women who used propaganda and social engineering to make what women think that they were more beautiful. They smoked cigarettes and they died. He also pushed the propaganda that fluoride was good for you. Fluoride is the sludge that's left over after you process uranium. How in the world can that be good for your teeth? But these millionaires and billionaires ran into storing problems of storing this toxic element. So they came up with this, and he's the one who pushed the idea to use it. So now they sell it rather than store it and make money off of poison. They then, Eric Bernays worked with this guy, Kurt Van Loren. Kurt Van Loren was from Germany, probably oversaw Auschwitz, because all the science from social engineering comes from Auschwitz. You see, to do this science, you gotta fillet people. You have to have human subjects, and you have to fillet them, and you have to be an expert in the theories of human motivational processes. What makes people do what they do, and how you can trigger and motivate people to do what you want them to do. This is the guy, lunatic psychopath, Kurt Van Loren. This guy taught at Duke University, where they're having all those problems. He taught at Harvard. That's why they hate the Jews. I believe that he was involved with the Holocaust, because for some reason Harvard hates Jews. And all of these mad scientists and social engineers did all their work at Harvard. So Kurt Van Loren was there. He also taught at Syracuse University, where I believe they were involved with running experiments at Teen Challenge. That's a book I hope to get to write someday, but I'm writing a book called The Black Disease, where I prove and show you that what's going on in the black community was created through social engineering, and that the civil rights movement was completely socially engineered and fabricated using actors and using the science of social engineering, infecting black people purposely with the Communist Manifesto. This guy, Kurt Van Loren, is an expert in the same field I'm an expert in, human motivational processes, but he's a genius and I'm not. He trained this guy, Williams. This guy, Williams, they're all social engineers. They're all doing this science of controlling people's minds. He then trains this guy, H. Stanley Hall. H. Stanley Hall was presented as the man who received the first PhD in psychology at Harvard, which had to be bullshit because all the people who trained him were PhDs in social engineering, which is psychology. They used this guy to then roll out the creation of HBSUs, which would all be social engineering schools that would continue to infect black people with the Communist Manifesto. That's what I'm telling you. All of those HBSUs are social engineering schools, dumbing down black people, making sure that their education never meets the standards of whites. And they continue to use these blacks, putting them into positions, making them look like that they're geniuses and shit, when they're really dumbing down the United States and breaking down our institutions. This guy then opened up the Atlanta Clark School, which was an HBSU he was a social engineering. You're now social engineering. But before this happened, let me bring you down to history of when we were out of slavery. We ended slavery in 1865, and we were basically 100% illiterate, all of us, because they would murder you if you got caught teaching a black person how to read. The laws on that, I've read them. I've done all the research in Black history for my book, and it was unbelievable. No one took the chance of teaching a black person how to read. Do you know by 1917 we had almost 100% literacy, and we had created a English language, a style of English that was so perfect and beautiful, and we did it only by the Bible. See, we were Christians when we came from Africa. We know we were because we came singing songs in the cotton fields. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth the That's from the book of Isaiah. We wrote the first Bible in Ethiopia. We were Christians. And that's what got us through. We didn't get bitter. We praised the Lord and asked for his deliverance. And in 1865, we got it. Do you know that we created the greatest educational system in the world that has not been competed with this thing? We recovered from slavery faster than any race. And when the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers saw that shit, when they saw that, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and Dale Carnegie saw that shit, it scared the hell out of them. And then they decided to offer us Tuskegee Institute. And that's where they brainwashed us with the Communist Manifesto. Let me show you what these monsters did to us. You can see that there were no white people in this school. It was all black doctors and nurses. Do you know that we went from there and helped Margaret Sanger sterilize our own black women? Do you know that Margaret Sanger paid black pastors because they infiltrated all the black theologies with the Communist Manifesto and replaced the Bible, the Southern Conference? So all these pastors had already been brainwashed. They had already taken over all the black seminaries where they got Martin Luther King, and they had brainwashed them, replaced the Bible with the Communist Manifesto, gave these niggas $500 each. They went to all the churches convincing black women to sterilize their kids. Then they were sterilizing black women without their knowledge, and it was black doctors and nurses doing it to their own black people. Then they sat there and experimented on their own black people, watching them die of syphilis when there was a cure, and sat there and let their own black people die. Because what happened? Let me tell you what happened. Let Dr. T tell you what happened. You see the same shit today. What they did in that school is they brainwashed these black people to see their own black people as not really black, as coons. They say the same things to Dr. T today, and every black person who tries to tell you ain't really black, you a coon. That's what they did at Tuskegee when they brainwashed them. They got them to see their own black people as not really black and as coons. That was part of this contract that these three sellout niggas made when they sold us out. You see, when they saw us perform at the level that we scared the shit out of them, they went to these three sellout niggas and got them to sell us all out, the rest of the 90% of blacks, for the enrichment of their three lineages. And to this day, they're committed to covering this shit up. That's why you see them working night and day to keep black people hating white people, because they are desperate that we don't find this shit out. That they sold us out and it ain't white people. That it's these three niggas Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois. He's the one that orchestrated the shit with Margaret Sanger going to the churches convincing black people to kill their babies. These three niggas sold us out. This guy, Carter Woodson, to this day owns a company called the Black History Unlocked, where he constantly spews false propaganda, false black excellence, to fool y'all that we're doing okay when only their lineages are prospering. That's what's going on. All of Hollywood is from their bloodlines. All these people, that's blacks that you see that are billionaires and they are all allowed to make it according to this contract. When you saw Black Wall Street, you were made to believe that Black Wall Street was the result of these racist whites. It was the result of this contract that these three niggas made, that no one would be allowed to succeed other than their three bloodlines. And Wall Street wasn't in the bloodline and they destroyed them. And these niggas were a part of it and knew the entire time, but let you think it was just white people. All of these guys were given PhDs from Harvard by these social scientists so they can continue this shit, brainwashing us with the Socialist Communist Manifesto, watching us destroy each other, and watching the people that are not on this bloodline generation after generation decline. And you can see that our race is declining. Don't you see that year after year, the ones that are not in this bloodline continue to decline while there's this small population of blacks that continue to thrive? It is because of this Farsian Luciferian contract that was made by these three niggas. So after that, they used the creation of the Socialist Communist Manifesto to create the Civil Rights Movement and infect all those people with the Socialist Communist Manifesto. That's why it's all fight, destroy, burn down. And what they did was, it took me a while to find Rosa Parks. She didn't go to college. Where they recruited her from was this sellout nigga's high school that they gave him for selling us out. They recruited her from Booker T. Washington's high school. Rosa, it was all an act. They were at the folk school. Listen, I read the FBI reports. J. Edgar Hoover, they all had wiretaps on them, so they all knew what was going on. They were all having orgies. They were all homosexuals. Every time they came to town, all the pastors were all having sex with each other, with women and men, because they were infected with the Socialist Communist Manifesto, which is the doctrine of death, which is a doctrine of perversion. That's why all these Democrats, you'll find out all the time, are involved in some sexual perversion. Fannie Willis, all of them, you'll all find out that they have this, because for some reason, this entity loves homosexuality, loves sexual perversion, loves lesbianism, loves transgenderism. They love it. And they promote it. They created the Civil Rights Movement. It was all an act. It was a violent organization. They created the folk school. I have the transcripts. The FBI agents went there, supposed to be a school teaching children. FBI agent went there 3 times, no children. One guy was a social engineer. They were training them in the Communist Manifesto, which is it's psychological warfare. They pretend to be peaceful. We shall over, but they're secretly hiring organizations to. I got the transcripts. I got the FOIA requests. They were hiring violent felons to commit violence after them, then pretending, oh my God, they were provoking people to be violent with them, then claiming we're being peaceful. This was the psychological warfare bullshit that they're doing right now with Black Lives Matters, and they're tearing apart our cities. They pretend to be peaceful, but they have an entire organization and plan for violence, then they complain being victims. And this is the psychological warfare aspect of the Communist Manifesto. It is a doctrine of deception and death. So they recruited this nigga, recruited her, recruited another guy named black dude from Atlanta, Clarksville to train them. And I have the pictures where they were in the school getting trained. Here is the clips I got from the FOIA request where they were violent, burning down shit. Here's a woman, she's breaking people's arms. If you don't cooperate with the civil rights movement, they'll kill you. They were breaking people's arms, putting people's eyes out. Listen, I have the documents, man. They were a psychotic, sick organization based on a satanic doctrine. The Communist Listen, this is what's going on. The United States is under attack by the Communist Manifesto. If we don't get these communists, listen, all these mayors from all of them are communist socialists. The entire Democratic Party are communist socialists, and it's demonic. Listen, we got to get communism out of our country. It is the great threat. All of these schools, all of them, these HBSUs are constantly creating communists. Let me show you this. This is from J. Edgar Hoover's diary, his report of what they were doing in the civil rights movement. It strives to promote the aims through Negro Communist Fronts organizations. They were creating organizations because at these schools, the Clan and Clark School, they were creating black social scientists. Nobody knew that they were social scientists. They were hiding this in the degrees like they were when they rolled out H. Stanley Hall. They were sending them into in the black neighborhoods, and they were brainwashing black people, infecting them with negativism about the United States of America, and they thought that they were one of us. They weren't. They were sent there to brainwash them, and this went on for decades. Do you know it went on so well that when they were brainwashing the black people with the Communist Manifesto, they also infiltrated and controlled all legitimate black organizations. There was no legitimate black organizations left, none. The NAACP was a complete socialist communist organization, completely taken over. I even found out that even the company that made and wrote, they were from African Episcopal America. They even took that over, civil rights, and started writing stuff. And they even wrote the saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names may never harm me." They took that out and wrote that on purpose to fool people, so people wouldn't understand the power of words and that they could be brainwashed. They laid the platform for this. They took over. I even read it. The pastor's church that they took over, he even protested against them being taken over. He said that they were colonializing them. And what was happening is the Communist Socialist Manifesto and the communists, these Luciferians, were taking over the churches. And he even complained about it, but he was too weak and old to do anything about it. He died. They're violent. I have the proof. Listen, the civil rights movement is bullshit. If black people continue to practice the civil rights movement, it will end in our extinction. I'll also show you how they created Islam in the Quran. I'll show you how it was socially engineered. Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, Islam, all of these religions were socially engineered by these psychopaths to destroy our world, our country. In Jesus' name, I'm telling you the truth. This is Dr. T. Have a good day.
Let's go back to Africa. Let's go to Liberia. Well, I am not African. I'm American. A black American, and proud of it.
Nigga?
Kniga.
Wait, what?
Kniga. Book. Kniga.
Bro, stop playing with me, bro. Nigga! Oh my god!
I was in Korea.
Oh my god, bro! I swear to God, chat.
They could never get away with that.
Every time.
Never.
So look, you can read a nigga.
Never said that to me. You would get put to bed.
Hell nah, chat.
Hell
nah, bro. Hell.
And let me go ahead and stop you there. See, and this is why, you know, thank goodness I live in Mexico at one point for 5 years. I have to stand on business and call your butt out. Number one, that's 100% incorrect. Actually, for you, you said that they got refuge, the so-called original Mexican people, which are aborigines of Mexico. They have claimed that they were already in Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 5 years. I lived in Mexico City. I lived in freaking Cancun, Mexico. I lived in the Yucatan. I lived in Merida. I've been to Morelos State. You're telling me, them ones in Guerrero, and you're telling me that they got refuge as slaves. See, this little slave narrative needs to die. All right? From what I heard from these people, these aborigines, which have indigenous statuses as of last year, late last year, early this year, by President Sheinbaum, right? I know who she is. And they have Aboriginal rights. So how can Africans or migrated slaves have Aboriginal rights of the land that they come from if they were African? What sense does that even make? Make that make sense, brother. Y'all gotta stop lying on here, man. And there wasn't just Moors in Spain. There were Jews in Spain. Why don't you guys talk about this? That's how you know. And they were melanated. They were my complexion. And they were in Germany as well. Stay tuned. I got German ancestry, both sides of my family. Irish, both sides of my family. Multiple family members. Austrian, French, Swiss, Norwegian, Italian, German, British, Scottish. The list goes on and on. Alright? No more lies, man. You all need to stop playing, man. For real. You guys are killing me. Alright? Makes no sense at all. It makes no absolute sense how y'all keep pushing this Moor stuff. And Moors were only one subset of class in Spain. There were American Indians in Spain because they migrated, the America Discovery of Europe. Maybe that's a book that you should read before you regurgitate garbage. Alright? That was the American Indian, again, their migration to Europe. Then you had the Moors, which you said came from North Africa, which I think they migrated from the Americas straight there. Alright? I don't even think them people come from North Africa. I don't think there was anything there long ago. Alright? And then you had the Aborigine who originated in Spain. Alright? AKA Cheddar Man. Okay, Cheddar Man is what the original people look like in the British Isles. So you're telling me there was no such thing as a Cheddar Man in Spain? None. I found another one in one of the other. I think it was Austria. There was one also, a Cheddar woman, that was found there of melanin, of carbon. So you're telling me there was no original Aborigine in Spain? You're telling me they're all Moors. You're telling me they're all Moors. I highly doubt that. So you can make up whatever you want, but the math ain't math, my friend. I'm telling you. You guys need to really study up on your stuff before you keep making up bullshit. I'm getting tired of y'all lying on my European ancestors. Alright? You need to uncover every side before you start pointing the finger at somebody. Because I'm getting tired of y'all regurgitating garbage over and over. And fabricated myths that the white man made up in the first place. Or that melanated people or Freemasons made up in the first place. Because there were melanated sellout Freemasons also. Alright? Of many different countries. And they're still coalition to this day. Some are even the African Union. You can remember, you know who they are. If you've done your research on them clowns. Right? That's just one group. There's many. Of melanated sellouts. Of many races. Alright? Let's keep going, man. We done talking about this. Get out of my face. The God has spoken. Hey, shouts out to ya. I see ya. Welcome to the page of Hairs of Great Britain. As you can guys see right here, I do have an Irish flag in the background there. Alright? So my ancestors came from Ireland, Scotland, and Britain. And they actually were deported during Jacobite Rebellion. So this guy is a living example. That's why I waited a few hours before I answer. When everybody else is like, oh, I didn't know there were, Aborigines still in the British Isles. Yes, we still live in the British Isles, I grew up in the United States when my ancestors and my grandparents already knew better. They came from the British Isles. Alright? During this time, there were some of us from the British Isles that were deported during the Jacobite Rebellion. Those are the people like himself, if he is from the British Isles. I'm talking about born, bred, and ancestors from there, like myself. Then guess what that means, That means that proves what I've been seeing. And I don't need to see this video to prove that. But because a lot of y'all sent me this one in my DMs. I do appreciate y'all. I didn't respond because they've been talking about how we have so-called copper-colored or brown-skinned people, in Scotland. I've been saying that. I even showed you statistics on my page. If you go back far enough, you're going to see how many numbers, that are there. Of how many of us are in Ireland, Scotland, Britain, Germany, right? I got a German shirt on. I got German ancestry also. Italian, of copper skin, right? Switzerland, all of those places. We've all been lied to. I keep saying that. That's the whole point. This is not color coordinated. A lot of you guys come out the woodwork, oh, this is color coordinated. It's not color coordinated. You were taught lies that you come from those lands. And we, in this comment here, we come from those lands. Those are lands that we originate on. So you should be the helpmates telling the truth rather than being the so-called prisoners of prisoners that was, brought to these countries to serve us at that time. And then we gave you another chance, and then you turned against us. Oh yeah, they don't want to talk about that. Every single world that you think about was of copper-toned skin, even in Scotland. Right? You want me to go ahead? I'm going to start dropping all of them again on my page again. I'm going to recycle it over and over till you guys get used to knowing that we are the original heirs of the throne and the British Isles and all throughout Europe. All right? That's not including Australia as well and other nations out here. All right? The Americas everywhere on the planet. We're still around the world as Aborigines, So you need to realize that. All right? This isn't fabrication. I have my family tree to prove this. Right? People have always told me I didn't come from the United States. Even though I know we left the United States long ago to go to the British Isles. That's another thing. If you're watching this, brother, do not believe the concept that your ancestors, if you are born and bred, I'm talking originally from Scotland or the British Isles or any part of Europe, do not believe that you came from Africa, because you didn't. A lot of the migration came from the Americas. All right, we've proven that on these channels. All right, so we've proven that already. All right, and then from there, other countries of the world. All right, and then we built up those societies as Aborigines. Right, I'm currently in Manila, Philippines, and the Aita here, right, and some of the other tribes, they are connected to the so-called Black American, which is the American Indian, right, the Aborigine of the lands. So that's the lies they have perpetuated. Oh yeah, they came from Africa all the way up into Europe. No, they came from America, the American discovery of Europe. That's the truth, right? And I've covered this many times on my channel. So it's good to see, if you are Aboriginal Scotsman, it's good to see you, man. Right? Now we need to start getting these pages and start having them share the truth of the region they're in. Oh, a lot of people ain't going to be happy to see this guy, because these are the guys they've been hiding. Guys like this, they've been hiding. Guys like me, they've been hiding, even though I grew up in the United States. Right? But they've been hiding people like us. Now we're coming to the forefront, telling them what we truly are. I'm not no African. I didn't come from Africa. I didn't migrate. My ancestors didn't migrate to the British Isles. They were already in the British Isles. In fact, Kenneth the Niger McAlpin, right? The Niger means the black. Right? That's what it means literally in Old English. It means the black. So what do you mean? That's one of my oldest ancestors. Kenneth the Niger McAlpin. Right? Van Dub. Van Dub was the first one. Okay, dub means black in Old English. My ancestors, some of them come from Ireland. Right? In Northern Ireland as well. Or, yeah, Northern Ireland, I think, and also Northern Scotland as well, too. Right? So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But you want to forget about that, though. And then the best part is, what does Dublin mean? Dub and black. It means black. All right? That's Old English. So guess what that means? Dublin, city of blacks. Yeah, you guys were definitely called Dublin people. No, you were never called Dublin people. And Van Dub was a man of color. He was copper color, copper tone skin. We don't do black over here. Black means dead and living, right? And the Black Soul Dictionary, 16th edition. Right? You got to really dig into the stuff and know what black truly means. I just use it for historical context. But then I use swarthy, which means in Old English and Old Black. So that's all I use. And you hear that many times throughout history. I don't know if they know this in Scotland, at least what they teach to him. But a lot of the textbooks that we put on these pages, teaches the truth. And it shows you swarthy multiple times. And we even have the portraits of the royals. They're not white people. Now, we don't say that to be like, we don't like white people. We say that they're liars. And they planted the white people in the roles that you should be in. That's all it is. Or Asia, same thing. Of the modern Asian, it's the same thing. All right? Or in Mexico, Latin America, it's the same thing. I lived in Mexico for 8 years. All right? So I've been all over the planet. We're all getting there. All right? But I've been on different continents. Okay? So shout out to this brother. Like I said before, if you're original Scotsman, you are the original bloodline of the land. Do not let them tell you came from Africa. You turning that way, looking at another landmass. You come from right there. You come from the land you're standing on. It drops them insane. Some of us didn't make it. Jacobite Rebellion. And I will break that down on my page if you're unfamiliar with it. Those are all copper-toned people. All right. Some white tees did help us, but it was mostly copper toned. All right. And we ended up getting deported to the Americas, Australia, the Caribbean, right? Some even to Africa, which is the worst out of all. That's the worst imprisonment because their documents are destroyed. So they don't even know that they go back to the British Isles or other parts of Europe. That's the kicker. So shouts out to you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate seeing that video and all you guys sharing. I finally answered, all right, because you guys kept saying that I need to answer this guy. This is absolute lies. I'm going to tell you something. You Africans need to stop speaking on us Aborigines who were deported off of our lands in the British Isles. Stop speaking for our people. You fake wannabe British Islanders and you fake wannabe Germans from that mud hut continent that only 30% has any architecture and drinkable water on. And you have the audacity to roll up to my lands in Germany, all those places my ancestors are from, of copper-toned skin, the royal bloodlines. And you have the audacity to say that we, going back to the ancient times of AD, of the original royals of the lands, of the Jacobites, of every piece of history, and you have the audacity to say that we migrated from those lands that didn't even exist yet. Show me a map of Africa in 1500, man. And to the person who tagged me to this, I have since removed that person. They know who they are. I will not have them on my page tagging me into nonsense. This is the only time I answer an African any point of this video. Alright? Don't ever talk about our people in Ireland, of the original people, or of Scotland, or of Germany, or of Switzerland. Yes, we have copper people that are still there to this day. Or Scotland, we got a brother up there also. Many of them still there today. Ireland as well. Right? Even Eastern Europe. So don't you dare tell us we came from Africa. That's a load of bollocks, man. You're a liar. You are a bull-faced liar. And I have my family bloodline and I have the freaking phenotype to prove I come from there. I grew up in the United States. That's the only difference. Minus that, guess what? Them bloodlines stay strong. You can't take that away. You little immigrants love coming to our countries over there. And then you love cosplaying as the original people. And it drives me absolutely insane. I'm tired of you cosplayers. It's time for us to take back what we truly are. If you read The American Discovery of Europe, you would see that Black Americans, aka American Indians, traveled to Europe. Then you had Aborigines of the land that were already in Europe. And those so-called Moors, that story you like to use, they came from the Americas. The American Discovery of Europe, Volume 1. You can go read that book and stop being stupid and ignorant. How about that? And then you can read America's the Old World, Volume 2. Then you can read America's the Old World, the Original Africa. Oh, that's going to smack you right upside your head. It shows how you guys are fabricated melanin. You're not even us. That name don't even belong to that continent. It belongs to South America. But you wouldn't know that because you don't read. But you thought you ate with this stuff, huh? You thought you ate with this one, huh, man? Teaching lies about the European continent. You guys as Africans need to stop tying yourself to my continent. Because that's where my ancestors bled and died and were deported from. Not imported. You guys didn't get there till the 1900s through most of Europe, and it was a small population. We're still the majority in Europe as the original people. I got a whole map posted about every country there, about our population there. And it's not you, the majority. There's even 2 census records in Ireland. That's just an example. You have Black Irish, which is like the Black American, right? Because there's a Black American, right? And a Nigerian American, right? Okay, there's a Black Irish, right? And a Nigerian Irish, right? That's 2 sets of people. Get that through your thick school. I know what you're doing. You're trying to engineer another lie to tie us to you. We are not you. We don't want to be you. Not if you're a liar like that. And even if you try to, we're not the same. That's based on DNA, right? Which DEA, that's a whole different story. That's based on, again, the migration from the Americas long ago, which can be proven. And also, that goes back to, what did we talk about before? Phenotype. You do not have a phenotype. You're an African. You come from that continent. You did not rule anything in Europe. So we're going to shut that down. We were already in Europe before the white English came. The Negro Question Part 4. That's another book you can read and get your ignorant butt educated on, man. How about that? And that little fake Irish accent you got going on right there. Fake British accent, whatever the bloody hell that is, man. Fake. When people talk to me, they say when you unlock your true identity, they say you have a real ancient Irish accent. I said, oh, I know. I know. It doesn't exist much anymore. But go ahead and keep teaching lies about our people. We're going to keep smacking you Africans on the top of the head with truth. Because you cannot tell lies about the European continent of Queen Europa. She wasn't African either. Fun fact for you. I just found out she's related to the Queen of California. The melanated Queen of California. She's related to her. And she was the one that went over to Europe and named it in the first place. You can go ahead and look that up, Queen Europa. She's not an African. She's indigenous to the Americas. So you've been corrected. Get out of my face and don't talk about us no more. Because you're an immigrant from Africa. Stop speaking for true Aborigine European history. Because Europe is not a white word. It's a word from people of color. Aborigines from the Americas who migrated there and built those castles and the legacy and the thrones and the freaking royals. All right, they came much later to whitewash everything during the Renaissance era. Even in Italy, I know guys in Italy with copper tone skin who talk about this right now to me. Germany, we know somebody living from Germany through Ellis Island, an original German, not myself. Enough with your lies, you scumbag. All right, we don't want to hear from you Africans no more. Get the hell out of my face. The God has spoken. Mate, thank you, mate. I've been talking about this for 2 years. King James, there's more than one if you read the Negro Rulers of Scotland, British Isles, which you did post, right? So, is my great-grandfather, okay? The Black Prince, right? King Edward, he is my great-grandfather as well, right? I have the Villiers, right? The Royal Villiers in my family bloodline. My bloodlines go back to Ireland, Scotland, and Britain, and go back prior to 1492, all the way back to the 1300s, 1200s. Everything you said is facts. I've been saying this for 2 years. Thank you, man. Mate, you are on the money. And we were indentured servants. My ancestors, I done my family tree. My ancestors were stripped of their royal titles and their money and their land, and they were shipped to the Americas in the 1500 or 1600, some 17, even late, almost early 1800s, some of my ancestors. All right, so you are spitting facts, man. 100% truth. And about King James, that is right. That's exactly how they write about King James in a negative light. And he did not like a lot of those folks. He did not like a lot of them. You're 100% truth, right? And it's ironic to this day how my ancestors flowed through me. And in fact, the Wicked Bible. It's funny that you say it, right? That it said King James written the Wicked Bible. Well, I had a dream about King James, my great-grandfather, a couple months ago, this year. And I had a dream about him, of him burning the Wicked Bible. The same one that they said that he wrote, or he destroyed because they wrote it. He never wrote the dang thing. He burned all of it. That's what I had in my dream. He literally burned it, man. That was the dream I had, that he burned it. And he was a man of color. I saw he was a man of color in the dream, in my bloodline. So don't let these people fool you, man. He's speaking facts. You need to listen. Check out my page. It's Hairs of Great Britain. I'm so glad that the word is getting out. We were indentured servants as well. I've been saying that. They sent us to the 13 colonies, and we were stripped of our royal titles, some even of noble title, right? And then they were sent to the 13 colonies, and we were in the worst conditions. Not only that, we were unalived, right? After the Jacobite rebellion, those who stayed in Ireland and converted, or freaking any part of Europe, right? And then he said no more. Exactly. They were sending them to the Americas also. We had multiple royal families in Europe. We had the American Indian, which were on the royal throne. We had the indigenous European, like my bloodline, because my bloodline does not just start in 1492 when I was shipped over there. No, it starts way before, back to Cheddarman. So I'm one of the original inhabitants of Europe. All right. Then you had the Moor that was also in Europe as well. So you had 3 sets of people. He's 100% correct. Absolutely correct. Because I've been saying that for 2 years. When I connected the dots, I finally figured it out. And I realized there was 3 sets of melanated people in Europe at the same time. All right? So-called North African one, which goes back to the Americas. Right? The so-called Phoenician people and the Berber peoples. Right? Those are original peoples of the Americas. Then you have the so-called original European that was already there. Germany, everywhere else. Check out my page. You will see the facts. All right? We were all over the planet, Europe included. We're still there. We're still there. You know, that's one thing he didn't say, but we're still there. All right? I've been to Europe. We're still there. All right? And then, of course, you got the so-called American Indian that were also ruling on the royal throne in all of those places. All right? And this is the hidden lie they don't want to teach you. We were indentured servants in Europe. Absolutely, 100%. Right? And when we were shipped to the Americas, we were indentured servants. I've been saying that. And King James had nothing to do with that little book. I keep telling you that. He didn't even like them. Why would he write a book about religion when he didn't even like them? He didn't even like them people. So why would he write about it? And why did he not like them? Because they conspired to get rid of him, just like the rest of our royal bloodline. That's the reason why. These are the hidden truths that are now coming out. Watch this guy. Shouts out to your brother. He shouts out to you, God. You have all the respect for me. Just subscribe to your page. Keep teaching this truth. I can't believe my word is spreading worldwide now. And you got people in the United States worldwide just teaching my history now. Not what I learned, not what I wrote down somewhere, but what I'm putting out to the internet so people talk about now. So thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Have a good day. Hey, like I said, I got German roots as well. Massive melanated German roots, both sides of my family. I'm not mixed up. You know what I'm saying? Just mixed. I'm literally all melanated, all of dark complexion. Right? French, right? Netherlands, Austria, Norway, right? What else we got? Northern Scotland, which is Channel Islands, right? I got it all up in there, man. All of it. Italy, Italian lanes as well, right? Swiss. So I got it. Sweden, right? I got all of that up in me, man. That's my ancestors, right? So I'm telling you, that the truth is coming out. Thank you, man. I'm telling you, I almost cried because I couldn't believe it. Some pages are talking about this stuff now, and then it came across your page, and it just resonated so strongly with me, man. Hey, like I said, you got a sub from me, man. Keep up the good work, God.
Read the words that are written in my face. Oh, I believe them. I believe. It's a shameful fate. You've lost your head. A careless man who could wind up dead.
So I'm watching all of this discourse that's happening online. And honestly, truly, I'm not here to bust anybody's bubble. But I think you guys need to know this because it's a little bit embarrassing. It is. The Black Scottish are also Black British. England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland all fall under the umbrella, the United Kingdom. So to see you guys on this app ask these people, are they African? Are you guys immigrants? You telling them don't allow those Africans to take credit for what you guys built in Scotland. Number one, are you not embarrassed? The same thing that happened in England also happened in Scotland, the Windrush generation. You also have the African migration. You have the more modern immigration to the United Kingdom. So when you're online talking about, let us know if you African so we can unfollow you now, you should be embarrassed. Because y'all the ones that be sitting online telling these people, y'all don't know nothing about us. Y'all know nothing about our culture. But something so simple as what is the United Kingdom. You don't understand. I guess we all need an education, right? So yes, they are Africans. And they are also Caribbean. Let's get this straight. It is very difficult to find 17, 18, and very early 19th century Black Brits. But we understand when they would have really became Black Brits. But I'll let you figure that out. I can't give you all the answers.
Guys, honestly, I love you Americans so much. Like, I'm so happy that you're intrigued to know what it's like to live in Scotland and stuff, and you have found my TikTok and you have found other people's TikToks. So I've seen all your questions and you guys have so much, like, you are so intrigued to find out so much, so I'll try to answer as much as I can. Like, probably not in this video, probably in another video or something. But like, let me just like kind of start off by explaining how I'm actually even here. So like, I was born in 2003, so I'm 22 now. A lot of families were moving like to different, like dispersing their countries like in those years, but I can't remember, like I literally can't mind what was happening during that time. Like I literally can't remember why like so many like families were moving and stuff like that. But like I ended up here. But like the thing is, my family were moving about quite a lot around the UK, so like Scotland wasn't like the first initial.
Well, go right ahead, ma'am. Yes.
My name is Mrs. Elmer Lazar, and my husband and I are 100% for the Negro. I want to state that. In fact, when people say, would you like to have a Negro live next door to you, I said he has a perfect right to.
Do you have a Negro next door to you?
No, not yet, but I mean, I would really not mind it. However, and I am for the Negro, I want to see him get ahead, but now, in regard to what this gentleman said, where is this Negro going to purchase his needs, get his needs? All right, fine. All right, I want to address another remark to Mr. Meek. Many of my friends have been for the Negro, but ever since this violence started, they have turned against him. How do you go about not alienating the white man who has been for you through violence?
We don't care. He, for 400 years, he have murdered, burned, raped, castrated, and tortured. I give less than a hootenanny what any white person thinks about this black man is.
Well, but don't you want us to be with you?
I don't want you to do anything but leave us alone.
Oh.
We don't need you.
But I mean moral support. I don't mean do anything for you, but
work in your own neighborhood with the white people, they need the morality. We don't.
Stood up for the Negro, and now they say, well, now when they resort to violence, we are not with them.
Violence?
Well, I mean in some of these riot areas.
Well, riot areas. You talk about we resort to violence when I talked to a reporter for Newsweek who told of National Guardsmen shooting down people in the back. Understand? As they're walking down the street minding their business, shooting caliber machine guns.
Yes,
now wait a minute, listen. You said about violence. Yeah, I get sick in my stomach when I hear a white person talk about violence. You're the most violent people in the world. You are born on it, you live on it, you're sick with it. You're saturated with it. We have been the most peaceable, law-abiding fools the world has ever seen.
Well, perhaps our media of communication is misinterpreted then.
Of course it is. We don't want you to love us. We don't love you.
Then we are not being represented. You are not being represented properly through the press.
The heck with the press.
Right here and now, the tragedy.
Nobody loves the rap press, baby. Believe it. But they won't report it truthfully.
Well, perhaps that's it.
They won't show that all the black folks were shot above the shoulders.
Well, Mr. Meek, here is a lady who is obviously a liberal and wants to help you.
I never heard of a liberal.
You call yourself a liberal?
Yes, I do, yes.
This is a dilemma
I mean,
that a lot of people have.
I'm feeling toward all people, the Negroes, everybody. But the lady, I mean, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
She's paternalistic. And there's no white liberals, there are only black leaders.
You know, show me, we want some white John Brown. All the white John Brown stand up in here. All the white John Brown, they're going to die with us. All the white John Brown are not standing up. That's good.
If you can't tell, the whole black Scottish thing and the whole gingers are black thing, like, Americans are obsessed with black people. It's clear. Even the racist ones. We are obsessed with black people. We love them. Most of us love them. There are a few of us that act like they hate them, but they're also obsessed.